Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Pickle, as you know.
Oh, goodness.
Hi.
Hi.
As you know, we are primarily a movie review show.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Either that or a numbers podcast.
Did you watch any movies this weekend?
No.
Okay. You know that I did watch a movie this weekend.
You did. Yeah, this was big.
Today.
For your entire household.
I mean, really, it was maybe the... I don't want to go crazy, but arguably the cinematic event of all time. And that is, for those who don't know, Friday, both in theaters and streaming.
Which is pretty cool they did that.
They released the Paw Patrol movie. Now, the Paw Patrol movie is something that that has been wildly, rabidly anticipated in my household by, I'm not going to name names, by let's just say a person in my household.
And it wasn't you or your wife.
It was not me, and it was not my wife.
But we're not naming names.
But I'm not going to name names. It rhymes with Brank.
Yeah.
No, that's too obvious. I'll just say it starts with H.
Okay, there you go.
And so the Paw Patrol movie was released, and we had a watch party at our house.
I saw the popcorn bucket was out.
We got the popcorn. My son got to have some M&Ms. He really wanted to have some M&Ms, so I got to have some M&Ms.
Smart.
And we sat down and we watched it. And I am now ready to issue my review of the Paw Patrol movie. Because one thing I will say is after the movie, I went and I looked it up because, you know, that's how I like to party.
Nerd.
And what I find to be particularly interesting about this is that on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it has a 97% audience score, which means 97% of the people have...
that's like nearly impossible to do.
97% have approved it. It's got 79% on the tomato meter, which is the...
yeah, like the goodness scale.
That's the good... That's the critics. The critics say is that. What I think is incredible are negative reviews of the Paw Patrol movie. Because here's the spoiler alert. The Paw Patrol movie is a 90-minute episode of Paw Patrol.
Basically, yes.
Like, I don't... Like, it's a little bit more like... I don't know. Like, if you're familiar with the thrust of Paw Patrol, it's a group of talking dog first responders who help people.
Yeah.
And then they just do it for 90 minutes instead of 27. That's it. That's the whole movie. Some great characters in there, of course. My boo is Chickaletta. Chickaletta is my number one, followed by Mayor Humdinger. Those are my top two. But what I loved about this, and by the way, my son, who, if you couldn't figure out, was the one who was super excited about the movie, loved it. Thought it was the most important film that's ever been released.
Has he already asked to watch it again?
Oh, yesterday.
Okay.
We watched it Sunday night. Yesterday when he got home from school, he's like, can we watch a Paw Patrol movie? Like, I don't know if we can do this every day, buddy. But let me read a couple of negative reviews of the Paw Patrol movie. Chris Mello... It's a modern superhero movie for toddlers, sure. It even borrows images from 2012's The Avengers, a piece of IP designed to sell toys in an endless loop.
All right. Sure.
I'm sorry. Are you? Charles Solomon of Film Week. It's not so terrible that you take your kids to punish them, but it's just so uninspired.
What?
Here we go. Okay, this is my favorite one. Jude Dry from IndieWire. While it's doubtful the humorless dirge of a movie will make enough of an impression to mold young minds in any lasting way, the critique of Paw Patrol is useful as an amalgamation of certain favorite Hollywood themes that ought to be retired.
If you're using amalgamation to describe a children's movie, you're in the wrong realm.
Here's the thing. Hi, Will. It's not even a children's movie. It is a toddler's movie.
Yeah, like if you're using any of those words that she used in that description to describe a children's movie, you're not reviewing what you should be reviewing.
Yes. Here we go. Here's the perfect review. The perfect review is Let me read one more negative one from Jesse Hassinger from the AV Club, which can be a little bit. I think that's like the serious side of the onion, and they can be a little full of themselves. The film version feels most energized when it's amping up to sell toys, fetishizing the clicking of plastic into plastic, and supersizing the characters' armor and vehicles with a deranged zeal matched only by real police departments around the country. Bro, chill. It's a story. It's an animated movie about talking dog first responders. Let me read you the actual perfect review. It comes from Randy Myers of the San Jose Mercury News. This old-fashioned G-rated animated children's film, parentheses, young children, that is, not tweens or teens, in parentheses, does everything it intends to do and does it well. Yep. That's kind of it.
Yep. It is intended for, I don't know, not adults.
Yes. It's like, I don't know. It was like the idea of taking the time to write a negative review of the Paw Patrol movie.
Yeah, that makes me more concerned about what you're doing with your life. You know, like if you have time to go write a negative review of any kid's movie,
Here's
what are you doing?
the full review of the Paw Patrol movie. If you've seen Paw Patrol, it's fine.
Yep.
Your kids will like it.
And that's all that matters.
Like, do you think my son is really into the character development and the arc of Mayor Humdinger?
No.
No. I don't think that he's really revved up about whether or not Marshall is going to get back in his police car. I think he's the fire. Chase is the policeman.
Clearly, you paid attention.
Marshall
to the movie quite
is
well.
the fireman. My favorite one is my favorite of the Paw Patrol is Rubble. He's like the construction guy. Anyway, I give the Paw Patrol movie
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
And there's the official review.
Let's go! Free money!
How to sing blues, baby. Shot glass in your hand.
Yes. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It's Texas Football Today, a show online. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, texasfootball.com. Corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live on Facebook, texasfootball.com, YouTube, or Twitch. I did that in the wrong order. But I got them all. Or you're listening to us in the podcast, which you can subscribe to in the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good as she normally is. She is very stress-free and slept great last night and has not been working at all. She's a Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle.
Living in paradise, man.
I know. It's just, got plenty of time to read for pleasure.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
just lay in a hammock and soak up the sun.
Drink
It's-
Mai Tais.
It's that season.
That season. Today is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. 93 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Dave Chappelle. This is episode
Oh, nice.
1226. On today's show, guys, I couldn't really think of a clever title for this first segment.
So it's literally what it is.
It's Week 1 Regional Picks to Click. I'll explain what that means coming up here in a moment. And then back half of the show,
Two's ways.
we are pleased to welcome back for his weekly visit here on the second day of the work week, the Hall of Fame announcer for the Texas Longhorns and, of course, for Texas high school football. He is the great Craig Way. Will join us here at the back half of the show, as he will every Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Do we have first 4 through the door?
We sure do. It was Aaron Arbuckle, Ryan Smiga, Rob Hadaway, and Josh Chappa coming in with Two's ways. Welcome in, fellas.
Not an authorized.
Also, you should have given it 2 Paws up. Paw Patrol movie, not 2 thumbs up. You messed up.
Do dogs have thumbs?
No,
How sure are you?
100%.
Okay, guys. The first segment today, we're calling it Week 1 Regional Picks to Click because I couldn't think of a title. And here's what I mean by this. Pickle, you get these DMs, you get these tweets, you get these emails. I know I get them. I know Step gets deluged with them. I know Ish gets deluged with them. And what it is people saying, hey, I live in
Insert
blank.
name.
What high school football game should I go to this weekend?
Yeah.
That's what we hear. And we hear it a lot, especially in week 1. We hear it in the playoffs and we hear it in week 1. Those are the times where we really hear it the most.
And let's clarify, it's never like town name really. It's
No.
more like, oh, I live in the Lubbock area.
I live
you
in
know,
the
like
Panhandle.
yeah, exactly.
I live
in Central Texas.
I live in the Concho Valley.
I live in
Right.
the Houston area.
Right.
It's all regional.
And it's neutral fans, Texas high school football fans, who just want to go to a good game on Friday night.
some of our favorite people.
Yes, of course, yeah, the neutrals, right?
We like you guys.
Those are the people who actually drive up the attendance, in my opinion, at Texas high school at the state championship games. So, here's what I want to do. I want to go region by region, and we have, I believe, divided into 18 regions in the state. I'm going to go region by region, and I'm going to give you a game in each region that you should try to go to if you have the means. Okay?
I love it.
So we're not going to do this every week, but we are going to do it in week 1 because we know that you people are interested in it.
Yeah.
And I know what I said.
And there's
you
a little,
people.
there's a little more uncertainty about which teams are probably going to be good.
Right.
Unless you read all 400 pages of the magazine, which more power to you.
Okay. Austin. We'll go in alphabetical order.
Oh gosh.
Austin.
Dateline.
Arlington, Martin, and Lake Travis. That game's at Lake Travis, Friday night, Cavalier Stadium. A top, I don't know if Arlington Martin's top 10. They're close. They're either like 9, 10, or 11. Going up against Lake Travis, of course, who needs no introduction, also a top 10 team. Great coaching matchup with Bob Waker's squad taking on Hank Carter's squad. Interested to see how Lake Travis can protect Bo Edmondson because against this really good Arlington Martin defense. So
You can catch it on Texan Live too if you can't go
there
to
you
it.
go. Okay, good job. You do that when I'm
I
naming
got you.
the game around. Lake Travis and Arlington Martin, that game in Austin. Big country. So we're talking like, think Greater Abilene. Okay, big country. I want to send you to Stephenville for Sweetwater in Stephenville. A new coach there at Sweetwater in Russell Lucas, moving over from Hamlin. Stephenville, of course, always has high hopes. I think this is going to be a really fun game. The computer thinks it's a very close game. We'll have our computer projections up tomorrow. So I would say go to Stephenville for Sweetwater and Stephenville, although it's a good week in the big country. Brazos Valley. Let's think Greater College Station, okay? Greater Bryan College Station area. I'm going to send you. I want you to be a bit of a hipster. We're going to go to a 2A game. I want you to go to Bremont and Normandy.
Ooh, I like
I think
that.
Bremont and Normandy is going to be a banger. I think it's a fantastic game. We think Bremont could be really on the come up. I think that they have an opportunity to really make some noise this year. So I like Normandy and Bremont. This game's at Normandy. So if you're in the Brazos Valley area, go to Bremont and Normandy. Coastal Bend. Again, it's a broad scope, but let's say Greater Corpus Christi. There's a few different places I could send you, but I want to send you to Edna, okay?
I like it.
I'm going to send you to Edna. East Bernard takes on Edna. Should be a fantastic game. Should be a super physical game, too. That would be a game that I would send
that's
you
a
to
rock
in the
fight.
Coastal. Yeah, that's going to be absolutely there, because you could go to, like, Cal Allen and Gregory Portland, but I think Cal Allen's a pretty sizable favorite in that one, and that game's at G-Port. So yeah,
There will be highlights of that on Bally Sports Southwest.
There you go. I would say Edna and East Bernard is where you should is where you should go if you're in the Coastal Bend. Concho Valley, Greater San Angelo. Now this is a large region, but Greater San Angelo. I want to send you to actually one of Matt Sepp's favorite games of the week. Wink goes to Christoval. Okay, Wink is at Christoval. This game will be really interesting, I think. And one thing that's interesting, this is Wink going a little bit farther north. Christoval, they're in the Concho Valley. They're not just in different regions. They are on different opposite ends of the bracket. Wink is in Region 1. Christoval's in Region 4. We think both of them could win their regions.
Yeah.
They're that good, and they're facing off in Week 1. Keep an eye on this one, Christoval and Wink.
Can I throw out one more for the Concho Valley?
Sure.
Jim Ned and Ballinger. If you want to
Yes.
consider that Concho
yeah,
Valley.
Ballinger's kind of. I think we
yeah.
technically.
I was going to say, do we consider that?
I think
that's a good game.
I think we technically consider that to be big country, but that's
Okay.
right on that board. It's in
Yeah.
Runnels County. I would say, yeah, that's right on that edge. That's right on that.
Yeah.
That's right on that. Because they are on 84, and that I think that's where we kind of cut off Concho Valley. But yeah, Ballinger and Jim Ned would also be a great game as well. DFW. Okay? Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas area. Got a few options here. Friday and Saturday, Thursday and Saturday, you got good options because you got
Yes.
Highland Park and South Lake Carroll at AT&T. You've got Denton Ryan and Longview on Saturday at the Star in Frisco.
The Star.
I actually want to send you to Argyle. Argyle and Fort Worth Nolan. Okay? Fort Worth Nolan is one of the preeminent private school teams in the state. This is a big test for Argyle right out of the gates of an offense that's going to look different, that's going to have a new quarterback, that's going to be a little bit different. Big test for them. Fort Worth Nolan and Argyle is where I want to send you. Although you could do Melissa Salina, you could do Rockwall Cedar Hill. Boy, you could do Colleyville Heritage and Grapevine.
Yes.
But you can also watch that game on Valley Sports Southwest. So I'm going to go with, but I'm going to say right now Argyle and Fort Worth Nolan is probably the one
like
that
that.
I'm most interested in.
Hipster.
So there's that, a little hipstery. East Texas. It's a Thursday night affair. Gladewater and Gilmer.
Yes.
Gilmer and Gladewater. This game's at Gilmer. I believe Gilmer has won 16 straight in this rivalry, and that definitely sticks in Gladewater's craw. Gladewater's got one of the very best wide receivers in the state in DJ Allen. They've got Gilmer, of course, played for a title last year. They got an outstanding wide receiver, or rather quarterback in Brandon Tennyson. I think that game's going to be a lot of fun. Or if you want to go somewhere near Cedar Creek Lake, go to Malakoff. Grandview at Malakoff. Those two teams have become intimately familiar with one another recently. That would be a game that you could do that. And yeah, listen to Tough and Step for another pick, which was my hipster game of the week. Okay. El Paso.
Hello.
Pickle. Which game should they go to?
Canutillo and El Paso Burgess.
Why?
Because you can come say hi to me.
Yes.
Hello. I'll be there.
Yes. Great game.
It's our Dave
Cantillo
Campbell's featured game of the week.
Dave Campbell's featured game of the week. Pickle will be there out in the Sun City. You can see Tavoris Jones, the running back for El Paso Burgess, taking on what is traditionally one of the very best defenses in El Paso and Canutillo. So if you're in El Paso, that's the game. Is that the Socorro Athletic Complex? Do you know where that
No,
game-
it's at Burgess's
It's at Burgess
field.
Stadium. Okay,
Yep.
got it. Okay, so it's at Burgess, Cantillo, and El Paso Burgess. Yeah, Cantillo's got their own stadium. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Golden Triangle, Greater Beaumont, okay? Deep southeast Texas, okay? Golden Triangle, I want you to send to West Orange Stark in Nederland. It's at Nederland. Huge test for West Orange Stark right out of the gate. Huge test for Nederland right out of the gate. What does this Blue Link defense look like for West Orange Stark? We'll find out in a hurry against a talented and physical Nederland team. I want to send you to Nederland and West Orange Stark. So it's there. Also, if you could do Woodville at Newton, which would probably be a nice backup there. Hill Country, okay? Pickle, where's the Hill Country?
Home.
Okay. Hill Country. Think like northeast
in the
or
middle.
northwest of San Antonio.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of the Hill Country.
Yeah, I mean, the prime of the Hill Country is like northwest of Austin.
Yeah, I guess like kind of.
Like we're about an hour. Llano is pretty much right in the heart of the Hill Country.
Yeah,
and it's about an hour and a half northwest of Austin.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a good way to describe it.
Smack dab in the middle of Texas is
Here's where I
want
to send you. I want to send you to Kerrville. I want to send you to Kerrville for Dripping Springs at Kerrville.
I like that.
That is your pick to click there. Dripping Springs is a team we have really high hopes for. I think they've got an opportunity to make some noise. And Tivey's going to be very interesting this year. I'm very high on the Antlers this year. So I'm going to send you to Dripping Springs at Kerrville Tivey. Houston. Perhaps you've heard of it. Houston. You've got a couple of options here. But I think I want to send you to Dickinson hosting Manville. Manville, of course, the number 2 team in our 5A Division I rankings. We think very highly of the Mavericks. Dickinson, always a threat. A ton of playmakers on the field here. Very interesting. The computer thinks this is a very, very close game. I would go there. But look, it's a loaded slate in Houston. You can watch a lot of the games on Texan
Thursday
Live.
night, Crosby and Carthage is a big one.
That game's in New Caney. So
Also
you could
on
go
Texan
there.
Live.
It's also on TexanLive.com. So you could go there. I think that Clear Springs at Katy, you could do a lot worse than that. Bridgeland at Klein Kane, also on TexanLive.com. That game's really interesting.
Actually, ESPN. That one
ESPN.
will be on ESPN, yeah.
Oh, again, ESPN. Klein Kane and Bridgeland? Oh.
On, wait, Klein Kane. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was thinking the Saturday game.
Pickle.
My bad.
Okay. It's Houston. Panhandle. And that is different from the South Plains. We'll get to the South Plains in a minute. Panhandle. So we're talking Greater Amarillo. You guys know what I'm talking about in the Panhandle, okay? I want to send you... Ooh. I got 2 for you. I either want to send you to Panhandle, Texas, to go watch Childress at Panhandle. I either want to send you there. That'll be a really fantastic game. I think Childress is very interesting this year. Or I want to send you to Stratford to watch Spearman at Stratford, see Brennan Thompson play for Spearman. They're going to Stratford. That game should be a lot of fun as well. You can also see Midland Legacy go to Amarillo if you're interested in that, if you want a bigger school game. But my picks would be either Childress at Panhandle or Spearman at Stratford. Those are my picks for Panhandle. Permian Basin, Greater Odessa Midland, okay? West Texas. Greater Odessa Midland. First of all, I think the best game is probably... I'll make sure I'm not... I think the best game is a 6-man game.
Ooh,
okay, I think the best game is a 6-man game, and this is right on that kind of cusp of it could be Big Country, it could be South Plains, it could be Permian Basin, but I want to send you to Borden County in May. May is at Borden County. I'm very interested in that one, but if you're looking for an 11-man game, also Balmorhea is at Rankin. That's a huge 6-man game. But if you're looking for an 11-man game,
Midland Legacy is at versus Abilene High at WT.
Midland Legacy?
That's what Step said. Midland Legacy at. Well, he just deleted his.
I've got his
comment.
Amarillo. Yeah, I was gonna say. Anyway,
Me
that's
too.
well, you're throwing me off. There's not a great 11-man slate. I would say probably to send you to Ratliff to go watch Permian take on El Paso Pebble Hills, but I think Permian's a big favorite. If you're looking for a better, maybe a closer game, it's not necessarily like huge names, but I would go with Hale Center at Seagraves if you're looking for an 11-man game there in the Permian Basin. Piney Woods, deep East Texas, okay? South of East Texas, north of Houston in the Golden Triangle, okay? I want to send you to Joaquin. Beckville at Joaquin is a fantastic matchup there in 2A Division 1. Two teams that I think have high hopes for making a deep run. I think this game's going to be fantastic. Beckville at Joaquin is your pick to click for the Piney Woods, okay? Let's now move to the Rio Grande Valley, way down south, okay? If you're interested in a game down there, I would go with Mercedes at Brownsville-Hanna. I think that game is going to be fantastic. Two teams. I think Brownsville-Hanna has a chance to be one of the very best teams in the Rio Grande Valley. I'm interested in what they do against a very talented and physical Mercedes team. You could also do McAllen Memorial hosting Edinburgh-Vela, but I think Vela is a bit of a favorite in that one. So those would be my ones. Or you can go the Tinaco Bowl. The Tinaco Bowl is Weslaco East hosting Weslaco. Big rivalry matchup down there. I don't need to tell people in the Rio Grande Valley that. They know that. The Tinaco Bowl is going on this weekend. San Antonio. I want you to go to Ferris Stadium Friday night. San Antonio Reagan, San Antonio Brennan. Massive game. Huge game with major implications for shaping what Region 4 looks like in 6A. We had coach oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Who was the coach we had on yesterday? Pickle. We had Stephen Baser. Stephen Baser. I'm sorry. We had Stephen Baser on yesterday from Brennan. I think Brennan, I really mean this, I think Brennan's got a chance to be really, really dangerous, especially if the bracket breaks right. If they go out and show out against a really good Reagan team, two great quarterbacks in this one, very interested to see Brennan and Reagan. That's the game I want to go to. You could also go to DeSoto at Judson. That's pretty good too.
Yep.
Okay, South Plains, Greater Lubbock, okay? Greater Lubbock, I want you to go to, the best game's probably, again, a 6-man game. Westbrook at Motley County is a certified banger in the 6-man ranks. But as far as 11-man is concerned, I want to send you to Abernathy for Shallow Water at Abernathy. That game's going to be a lot of fun. I think Abernathy has some holes to fill, but I'm very bullish on them. And Shallow Water is a team that always brings the heat, especially early. So I would keep an eye on that one. If you're in the South Plains, I want you to go to Shallow Water at Abernathy. South Texas. This is kind of nebulous, but it's like think Greater Laredo, but also to that part of South Texas that's south of San Antonio, but north of the Rio Grande Valley. So this is kind of a nebulous region. I want to send you to Bruni for Refugio at Bruni, or I want to send you to Laredo United South, who's hosting Harlingen. Either one of those games are probably your best bet there in that kind of greater South Texas area. Super Centex region, which is kind of great. Let's call it Greater Waco. Greater Waco. I want to send you, the easy one would be like Austin Westlake's at Temple, and that one's, go to that game if you can. It's going to be great. Wildcat Stadium is awesome, especially on the first Friday night of the year. Posting the number 1 team in the state. It's going to be rocking. If you want to be a hipster, Franklin's at Lorena, and that game's going to be awesome. I think that game's going to rule. Franklin at Lorena or Westlake
That's another rock
at
fight.
Temple. That game's going to be tons of fun. A lot of playmakers on the field there. Texoma, okay? Up near the border, Greater Sherman Denison, let's call it. I want to send you to Gunner, Sunnyvale at Gunner. That game, and again, that's kind of that weird nebulous region. Could be DFW, could be Texoma. We call it Texoma. Sunnyvale at Gunner is going to be really good. Your backup there is Whitesboro at Bells. Those are your two games there in Texoma. But I get some eyes on Gunner getting tested against a good Sunnyvale team that does need to replace a quarterback. I believe Trey McKenna's coming. Anyway, and then finally Wichita Falls, Greater Wichita Falls. I believe
one of them was canceled.
Was it
yesterday? I believe.
Was that the Burke Burnett game?
Oh gosh, there's been so many of
Was
them.
Iowa Park Holiday? Is Iowa Park Holiday going on? I think Iowa Park Holiday is going. Oh no, Wichita Falls Hershey. You're talking about Wichita Falls Hershey.
Hershey got
I want
canceled.
to send you to Iowa Park for Holiday at Iowa Park. That game is really fun. Two teams we have very high hopes for in the 4A ranks, although Holiday's 3A. I am very interested to see what Iowa Park is able to put together, especially at home. Iowa Park Stadium is gorgeous. Great facility up there. So Iowa Park's your pick to click there in Wichita Falls.
Which is a good
there's some
segue.
speed
Super,
dating.
super quick. We do have a canceled or rescheduled, constant story
Yes.
being fed up on TexasFootball.com. So if you're curious about any of the games, about if they've switched or not, just go ahead and go there. There's a full list of them going.
So there you go. I think I gave you a game in every part of the state. If I didn't do a game close enough to you, DM Pickle,
Move
Ashley
somewhere.
_Pickle12.
Move somewhere that we did give you a game.
We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Never a better time. We just recorded a new episode of Tep and Step. Last night, it's up, your Week 1 preview. For Step and I, we went for a full hour talking Texas high school football, the best games in Week 1, so you can check that out. Also, of note, I believe tomorrow a new episode of Republic of Football is being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
That is noteworthy because perhaps if you missed it on Twitter, it's the last episode for one of our members.
Well, it's not even being recorded. It'll be live.
Oh, it'll be live.
Yeah, so we're giving you a chance to ask Shahan some questions before he heads out. So hop on at 3:00 tomorrow, Facebook Live right here, Republic of Football Live.
If you missed it, Shahan quit in a fit of rage.
Yeah,
That's not true.
he actually punched Tepper and then left.
That's not true. We're very happy for Shahan. He's got an awesome opportunity, and we're very happy for him. But anyway, you can throw tomatoes at him on his way out the door tomorrow on Republic of Football.
Boo!
Pickle, let's go to the hotline because it's Tuesday,
Two's ways.
and that means we are joined by the Hall of Famer himself. You can hear him on the horn in Austin every weekday morning, and of course see him on the Emmy Award-winning High School Scoreboard Live. He's back for another season. He's the great Craig Way. Craig, it's good to talk to you, buddy.
Happy season. And Pickle, did I hear you say that Shahan missed his opportunity if he didn't punch Tepper going out the door?
Dude,
Is that what you said?
I tried to convince him.
I don't.
It's a missed opportunity.
I don't love this. I don't love the direction of this conversation. Craig, let me ask you a question that you probably haven't been asked since you were in grade school, but what did you do on your summer vacation?
Well, a little bit of everything. There was a wedding to go to in Lake Tahoe. There was a Billy Joel concert at Fenway Park. There was a trip to Myrtle Beach, and it was all in 1 week span.
Oh,
Those three things happened in 1 week. And then even as I speak to you right now, my fiance, with whom you're well acquainted, Linda, and I are actually back in Myrtle Beach because we had to come for about a 24-hour trip to meet with people who run the venue where our wedding will take place next July. Breaking this news for the first time, July 10th, 2022, Craig Way wedding at Myrtle Beach.
Whoa!
Look at that!
We
Congratulations!
need the breaking news sounder for this one. Well, okay, then I won't keep you long since you're on vacation. But
That's okay.
let's talk a little bit about high school football specifically. You know, your expertise really lies, especially down there in your hometown of Austin, and I think there's a lot of intrigue around Westlake this year. The number one team in Dave Campbell's Texas football, of course, the back-to-back defending state champs. They're in Class 6A. But the news comes down late in the offseason that this will be the final year for Todd Dodge there at Westlake as he's going to retire after the season. in your conversations in and around that program, have you gauged any sort of way that this is going to impact the season, if at all? Is it a rallying point? Is it something people are talking about, or is it business as usual there in Westlake?
Yeah, that usually seems to be the Westlake way of doing things, business as usual. And by the way, the vacation already happened. We just had to fly here for 24 hours. This morning alone, Tep, I had 4 conference calls there with Kirk Martin at Colleyville Heritage, obviously, and Mike Alexander, Grapevine, since that's our Texas Football Days telecast Friday. And I'm also calling the Taco Shack Bowl for Loco TV in Austin on Thursday, McCallum and Anderson. So I had conference calls with those 2 coaches, Roderick Thompson, the interim head coach at Anderson, and Tom Gammerdinger, the head coach at McCallum. So I'm fully invested and thrust right back into the high school football scene. But to your question, yeah, it's been pretty much business as usual. Todd texted me back in early July and said, "Hey, I want to let you know I'm retiring after this year." And I said, "Does the rest of the world know this?" He goes, "A few people know it." He goes, "But I want to keep it under wraps until we get to August at practice time and do this." And I said, "Okay, how you think your guys are going to respond to this?" And he said, "We'll go about it like we do every other year." And it is from his perspective that way. But I will tell you, listening to Cade Klubnik and some of his other, high-profile student athletes they say they kind of like the fact that the seniors feel like they're going out with him. It's like he's an extended member of the senior class. And they all want to win for him one more time and make it 3 in a row to make him, I guess, the first coach to have a 3-peat at 2 different schools. So I think that means an awful lot to them to have an opportunity for that.
You mentioned that you're going to be calling the game on Texas Football Days live on Bally Sports Southwest, the Battle of the Red Rail between Grapevine and Colleyville Heritage, live 7:30 p.m., 6:30 pregame on Bally Sports Southwest. It'll be you and Gary Reasons on the call, and I know you mentioned you've been talking with Kirk Martin there at Colleyville Heritage and Grapevine's Mike Alexander. I'm interested from your perspective. What are these coaches saying as far as what the keys to this game are going to be? Because I'll be honest, in my research on this game, it seems pretty evenly matched, and especially when you throw in all the external factors like the week 1 and the big crowd and the rivalry, it seems like this could go any which way.
Yeah, and you know what adds to the intrigue, Tep, is that both coaches are going to use more than one quarterback. Both coaches have said not necessarily that it wasn't because one quarterback was able to separate himself from the other, but in both cases, they feel their quarterbacks bring different gifts to the party. There's a little more of the run pass, the RPO game with one quarterback, and one's the better thrower, and that's the case in both. And they feel like they get an awful lot out of both quarterbacks. So you got that. Then of course you got to have a guy like Caleb Tejada in the backfield for Grapevine that's going to be important for them. And one thing that I'm really going to be watching is the Heritage defense, in specific the linebacking core, where they had just absolutely crazy tackle numbers in a 9-game season last year. I mean, Chris Knight, their middle linebacker, I think had 128 tackles, had 6 sacks, and all this kind of stuff in 9 games. So they've got weapons on the defensive side. Grapevine's got some of those as well. And hey, a little bit of a rivalry thing, and it's one of several really good matchups. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but this week 1, maybe it's because of coming out of COVID and everything, but this particular week 1 seems to have more really intriguing opening week matchups than I can remember a week 1 having. I mean, normally there's always 2 or 3 good ones, and we usually have one on our Texas Football Days telecast. But I mean, it's chock full if you're talking Denton, Ryan, Longview, obviously South Lake, Carroll Highland Park, Westlake, Temple. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. You go on and on and on with all these big matchups, and there's just a passel of them this year, and I think that just adds to the intrigue.
Well, in one of those games, talking with Craig Way, the Hall of Famer here on Texas Football Today, get involved in the conversation, #TFToday. One of those games you didn't even mention is a cross-regional matchup as one of the very best teams in DFW, Arlington Martin, make the trek down Austin way to take on one of the very best teams in Austin, in Lake Travis. And it'll be the debut of Caleb Burton, Lake Travis receiver there. And it seems to me, in my first glance at this game of Lake Travis versus Arlington Martin, is what a great test for this revamped Lake Travis attack than going up against an Arlington Martin defense that is always good, and you also know that Bob Wager is going to have his boys juiced up and ready to go and hand the homestanding Cavaliers a loss. This feels like a real great litmus test for both these squads.
And both head coaches love this matchup. It's almost like, where have you been all my life in terms of non-district play? They've been looking for a meaty non-district matchup, and since they played a couple of times already, and they couldn't play last year because of the pandemic, but because they've played in the past before, they really enjoy it. They feel like the programs are similarly styled and similarly put together. Caleb Burton has been. I had Hank Carter on my show yesterday talking about it, and of course, both these head coaches are, have incredible praise for one another and what they've done, and it's a lot of fun. I do think what Coach Wager's got going with his defense is going to be a really nice test for what Bo Edmondson is going to be doing at quarterback there for Lake Travis, and then obviously having Caleb Burton. And not that Hank Carter was downplaying Caleb Burton's prospective contributions to the offense. He wasn't doing that at all, but he's got some other weapons, and he was listing the other weapons, and it's like, oh yeah, and Caleb too. So that's why I think this is a really good matchup.
And finally, Craig, I'm going to put you on the spot because there were, by our count at TexasFootball.com, of the 1,083 UIL member schools, there were 223 coaching changes. So a cool 1 out of every 5 changed coaches this offseason. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to make you pick one. Which of those 223 UIL 11-man coaching changes are you most interested in seeing how it shakes out in the early going?
Certainly Eric Peavy going to Little Cypress Mauriceville from Beaumont Westbrook is one that does draw a lot of attention. Also, only because it kind of happened in my backyard, Rodney Vincent leaving a 6A program in Vista Ridge to go to Shallow Water. That's got a lot of interest in it, too. So I think that's good. And then Carl Absack leaving Cedar Park for Barbers Hill. I think that's another one. And I know we were doing this the other day, Seth, when we did the preview show about interesting coaching changes, and it largely pared down to coaches coaching going down in classification, but some going up in class also are like they always are, fun to watch. So you're right. That's another thing, along with the intriguing games, all of these coaching moves that happened. And I think COVID and the pandemic probably had a little bit to do with that as well. So I'm keeping an eye on a lot of them, as you are also.
He's Craig Way. He's the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. Joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today. You can hear his dulcet tones on the horn in Austin, and of course, hear him call Grapevine versus Colleyville Heritage on Bally Sports Southwest, the Battle of the Red Rail, 7:30 p.m. Friday night on Bally Sports Southwest. Craig, appreciate your time, and give my best to your lovely fiance, and we will talk to you soon.
We're going to do that. Pickle, where are you getting scattered to for the opening week this
Paso,
week?
Burgess, and Canutillo. I'm going out to the 915.
That's getting scattered. That's good. That's good out there. 40's Mexican Elder Restaurant, fine place.
Okay.
I heard about it.
Have you a good Mexican meal there.
There he is. Craig Way, appreciate you, my friend.
Bye, Craig.
All right, see you guys.
There he goes. Craig Way, the Hall of Famer, joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today. And by the way, I guess I'll just throw this out there. One thing we've tried to do in the past, and we can do it. If you've got questions for Craig, we're happy to pass it along. So if you've, in the comments next Tuesday, as we're doing our first kind of nonsense segment or something like that before we get Craig on, if you've got questions, throw them in the comments. We're happy to pass them along. We'll have them every Tuesday, and then
Tuesdays. And
then we have we have kind of an interview exchange going because I'm on his show. It's going to be on Thursdays now. 11:05. Yeah, I was on Mondays, and now they want me on Thursdays because I think I got bumped for like Mike Roach.
Yeah, that makes complete sense, honestly.
I don't like you.
Shout out to my boy Roach.
Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment, Final Thoughts.
We got a beefy Final Thoughts segment, so
beefy
hang with
Final
me here.
Thoughts. Okay, I love it.
One, let's go ahead and reiterate Republic of Football will be live tomorrow. Facebook.com, YouTube,
Facebook,
and
YouTube, and Twitch,
Yes.
and TexasFootball.com.
So, and it'll be like the big point of this is to basically have a mailbag with Shahan. So if there's
Yes.
anything you've ever wanted to know from our college football guru, ask that.
Yes. Aside from, and I'm gonna protect him here.
Yeah.
I don't think he can say where he's working yet.
Yes.
So don't ask him that.
If
'cause
he
can't
says it,
say
that's fine. But
yeah.
don't ask him
Don't
to say
ask
it.
him to say where he's working. Don't tell him. Don't say that he's going to work for the White House. Oh my gosh, did I say it? Oh no, I did it.
Yeah.
He's not going to work.
So there's that. Another thing that was mentioned, did you realize in Pig Latin your son's name would be Tank Hepper? I think that's awesome. Tank. Why didn't you name your kid
So
Tank?
there's a teacher at his school that calls him Hank the Tank.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
another
So
school that
it was kind of
another kid that calls, or another teacher that calls him Hanky. We of course call him Hankopotamus.
Yeah. I think Tank Hepper is fantastic.
So by the way, there was
because like mine doesn't work that way.
I dropped him off at school today, and he, like, two kids, a girl and a boy, ran up and gave him a hug.
Oh, he's got friends.
And I'm like, I don't know if I like you having friends, kid.
You're mine. I never had friends.
Exactly
you can't
right.
have friends.
He can't have it better than I did. That's fine.
And then the last section is here too. Jacob John asked a really cool questions that I don't want to save for Mailbag Friday because I won't be here, so I'm going to be selfish here.
Cool.
Would you rather have your rivalry game week 1 or week 11?
Week 1. Week 1 because I don't want, if it's in week 11, then it obviously is a district, or almost certainly is a district game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, there's too much on the line to let the emotions get in the way. I like the fact of, like, for example, the Battle of the Red Rail, Colleyville Heritage and Grapevine.
It means a lot to the community.
It means
but
a lot to the communities.
Doesn't have any.
But it doesn't have impact on the playoff. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, if I was a coach, and thank God I'm not, if I was a coach, I want when they're in week 11, I want them focused exclusively on the game. I don't
out
want
there,
them
get the
working,
district
like,
win.
all the stuff
Yeah.
around them. So if I had my druthers, that would be way. Obviously, it doesn't always work out that way, and sometimes you got to play your rival smack dab in the middle of the season. But that would be my druthers.
Yeah, week 3 is my favorite. When you get a week 3 game that has a big rivalry because it's right before district play, like they don't have to be completely focused, but you've also got 2 games under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like they've got those first little initial kinks out, but it's also not district play. A week 3 crosstown rivalry that aren't in the same district,
Pretty good.
love it. But yes, week 1 is better than week 11. I agree with that.
Tomorrow, Greg Powers.
Chicken.
Imagine being here for the first time and he's hearing that and having no idea. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks to the Hall of Famer Craig Way for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for the 1,227th episode Spectacular, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, on Texas Football Today.